Hello. How are you guys? Today we're going to talk about your fertility and whether or not it needs a reboot. Do you guys think your fertility needs a reboot? Give me some hearts, likes, questions, comments. What does a fertility reboot mean? What does it look like? How do I know if I need one? How do I get from overwhelm to action when rebooting my fertility? How to get the right support? Who to listen to, right? I think those are so many normal questions that are probably running through each and every one of your heads of like, why Aimee? Why should I listen to Aimee in the first place? How do I even know if I need a reboot? And how do I get, I think it's an important one, how do I get from overwhelm to action? Like, how do I actually take action and do this to reboot my fertility? And then also, can I really reboot my fertility? Can I really improve my fertility and or my egg quality as I get older? I will say, based on my 18 years of clinical experience, yeah, you absolutely can. And how do you do it? Simply put, you reduce inflammation on both the physical and the emotional level, which will improve cellular function in your body. It will improve nutrient absorption in your body, and it will take years off of your biological age. So your chronological age is what it is. That's however many years old you are when you were born. But we can impact our biological age and our cellular health. And when we do that, just like we can reverse heart disease or diabetes or heal from cancer, we can reverse fertility challenges. We can reverse things like premature ovarian insufficiency or POF or endometriosis or PCOS. We can heal from those things. I don't think anyone can ever promise a cure 100%, and I don't, but we can heal and we can reverse the damage done because our body is resilient. And when given the right tools and the right resources, our body will heal and thrive. And that's what I see when it comes to fertility. I do think improving fertility is so much more than supplements. It's so much more than just reading books. It's so much more than fertility treatments and tracking ovulation. Improving fertility at the root means that we are looking at the foundation of our health, and that is then the function of our fertility. And so coming back to the basics of health, improving gut health, regulating the immune system, regulating the nervous system, those I think are the three major pillars. And then I would say improving nutrient absorption, learning how to nourish and support yourself on that deep soulful level. That's what heals the foundation and then allows fertility to thrive. And when we do address it, those three pillars, right? When we do address the gut, when we do address the nervous system, when we do address the immune system, what happens is these inflammatory conditions and or autoimmune conditions and or environmental conditions or toxins that are impacting our fertility and our aging process and our egg quality and our ability to get and stay pregnant will calm down. They will heal. You will then have the resources to manage the situation better in your body. So, you know, I'll often get women like, I'm doing all the things, Aimee. I'm taking all the supplements. I cut gluten and dairy and soy out of my diet and I'm still not getting pregnant. Okay, then I would dig deeper. How much fat are you eating? How many vegetables are you eating? How much are you sleeping? Where's your nervous system at? How's the trauma manifesting in your life? Have you looked at that part? How are your relationships? Where's your sense of community, right? All of those things come into play. It's not just, I'm doing the diet and I'm doing the supplements. Where's my baby? I wish it was that easy. I do. So let's first start off with, how do we know if we need a reboot? Anybody have any ideas? What do you think are some, I did a reel on it the other day. I think I said there was 5 things that I'll look at in a patient and it'll trigger me to think their health is directly impacting their fertility and I got to work on these things. Do any of you guys have a guess here? What do you think is one of the big ones that I look for and I know? Let's see, I'll give you guys a second. Anybody want to be brave and type in a potential reason when your health is talking and saying, I am dealing with this symptom. Thyroid, I think that's a good one. So I'm more looking for physical manifestations of symptoms, right? Thyroid, stress, digestive, or skin issues. There you go, girl. But thyroid is a great example too of like how underchecked and undertreated thyroid conditions are in the world of fertility. And for some, your thyroid could look normal on labs, but you have all the thyroid symptoms. You're cold, you have dry skin, you have hair loss, your periods are irregular, you have light menstrual bleeding, you have excessively heavy menstrual bleeding. Those are all signs to me that like something's not kosher in there and we need to regulate the system and allow the body to begin to heal so that it can prioritize pregnancy, right? So stress is another good one, and stress will do what? It'll impact our sleep. It'll impact our energy levels. So if you're telling me I'm exhausted all the time, or I have anxiety all the time, I have palpitations, or I'm so depressed, I don't really want to do anything. Okay, that's a sign to me. Your body is saying, I need to prioritize this before I can do this. And so those are signs to me about needing a fertility reboot, or needing a reboot in general, right? So things I look for: digestive issues, skin issues, eczema, psoriasis. Obviously, if there's a diagnosed autoimmune condition that you are actively getting symptoms from, so think Hashimoto's, think Crohn's, think colitis, think psoriatic arthritis, like anything like that. Did I say Hashimoto's? I think I did. Energy levels, hair, skin, nails not being nourished, being like sallow and dry and falling out, irregular periods, irregular ovulation, light periods, super heavy periods, super crampy periods, nausea and vomiting with your periods, headaches with your periods. Those are all signs to me that there needs to be a foundational reboot for fertility to begin to thrive. And I talk about this a lot in my book, The Egg Quality Diet, where I say, how do you know? So this is about talking about inflammation and autoimmunity impacting your fertility. So these are other reasons. How do you know if inflammation or autoimmunity is impacting your fertility? Have you been trying to conceive for 2 or more years without success? Have you had more than one miscarriage without a live birth in between? Have you been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition like Hashimoto's, colitis, RA, celiac? There's so many. Diagnosed with endometriosis, PCOS, premature ovarian, whatever, insufficiency, failure. Do you have more than one copy of the MTHFR mutation or the COMT mutation or the FADS mutation? Have you had repeated failed IVFs even with genetically tested embryos? Or are you having a hard time making normal embryos? Or even embryos getting to blastocyst stage. So those are all signs to me that like your body is in need of a reset and a reboot. And again, I would stress that it's totally capable of getting rebooted and reset. I know people are like, but what about me? I'm 44 and my period's acting irregular. What about me? I'm 35 and I've been diagnosed with POI. What about me? I have 8 years of endo and 9 failed IVFs. What about me? All of you. If you are experiencing any of these situations and have been in this journey and on this journey and are willing to look deeper, all of us can use a reboot at the foundational level to reset and heal our gut, to reset and heal our nervous system, to reset and heal our immune system, to improve nutrient absorption and learn to nourish and support our body. And so much of what I teach too is are you listening to your body? Are you reading your body? Do you skip breakfast and then get a headache at noon, and wonder why? Or are you exhausted with your period and you wonder why? Or hormonal acne, or delayed ovulation because of stress, right? Or travel. I can sleep 7 to 8 hours and still be tired in the morning. So I start taking melatonin. I notice that helps. That's good. So that's helping you sleep deeper. I would also be careful with melatonin. Don't go higher than 1 milligram, max 2. That can delay ovulation. But brain fog is a very common symptom that will alert me. Like, I sleep 7 to 8 hours and I'm exhausted all the time. That is a clear-cut sign to me that your body is not absorbing its nutrition, that there's a lot of inflammation impacting nutrient absorption. And so then I want to go in and I want to help reboot you. In Body Belief, in this book, what's it called? The Egg Quality Diet, I have a list of all the kinks in the system that could be impacting your fertility. And what I say, Michelle, that's me. Will the reboot involve the Body Belief diet? So, yes. The Egg Quality Diet was born out of the Body Belief diet, and I tweaked it for fertility. So the fertility reboot is basically the Body Belief diet tweaked for maximizing fertility. So it's a little different. But the kinks in your body, things like acne, allergies, anemia, anxiety, bloating, brain fog, bruise easily, cold hands and feet. What I say is, if you are checking off these symptoms and experiencing them regularly, meaning 1 or more times a week, if you only experience one of these signs or symptoms once every 2 weeks or once every month, don't check them. So once a week, if you are dealing with like some of these symptoms, it's a sign that your body is saying, I need a reboot. I need you to come in and at the foundational level, help me heal so I can help you achieve your desires and your goals, right? And my brain fog was horrible until I explanted 2 months ago. I don't know what explanted is. So then where to start, right? I think that's the next thing of like, okay, so yes, I believe I need a reboot. I have a lot of these symptoms. Where do I start? So if you're a self-starter, I do strongly recommend getting this book and diving into it fully, right? And I'll get into that question. I think it's a great question and it's very true. We need only to ever eat full fat, never eat low fat anything. And there's a lot of good sources of fat besides dairy, and nuts. Avocado, really good oils, ghee, coconut oil, avocado oil, butter if you can do it, grass-fed fermented butter, bone broth, eggs, good quality protein, has really good quality fats, right? So bone broth, I mean, look at how fatty this is. This is what my breakfast was. And there's ghee in here, egg, really good quality bone broth. Fat is critical to healing your hormones and to your fertility. So we've decided, okay, I need a reboot. Now, how do we do the next thing? How do I move from overwhelm to action? So a lot of you are self-starters. You get this book, you start following it, you do the 100 days. Amazing. Then what? Like, what's next? And then my goal for you all with this book, and if you do my fertility reboot, which is open for enrollment right now, and you can join up until tomorrow night at midnight, where you get 30 days of me guiding you on how to do this diet, and then also giving you community support and really diving into the emotional pieces. So this book is purely a diet, right? The resources page that comes with this book has so much information that's beyond diet, which you can only get access to the resources page when you buy the book, just FYI. Because it's voluminous, has so much information in there. And I wanted to save that for my readers. And so how do I move from overwhelm to action? So some of you can just jump right in and do it. And then others of you really need the motivation. And so that's why I run the fertility reboot. I usually run it at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. Just kind of depends on the year and all the things that are going on. We can never guarantee the exact dates of like the next one, but I love the fertility reboot program because we put the egg quality diet into action. And you get community support, and you get me guiding you and answering questions, my team guiding you and answering questions. Plus you get not just the menus, and there's the meal plans and the shopping lists and the recipes, and you get daily emails, but you get support on the emotional front, which I think, and after doing all the research I did writing Body Belief, our beliefs dictate our behavior dictates our health. And so if we only stick to things that we believe can help us, A, but B, we have a hard time sticking to a program because we think ourselves out of it, or we sabotage ourselves out of it, or we revert back to our old behaviors. And so much of what we do, and I always say this, I can give you the diet, I can tell you when to meditate and how much to sleep, but unless you actually believe that these things can impact you, unless you actually dig deeper and listen and dissect what your belief systems are, you're probably not going to stick to the plan. So you're going to stay in that overwhelm. You're going to stay in inaction. You're going to be paralyzed by the information. You're going to be overwhelmed by the information. You're not going to know how to create a solid plan for yourself moving forward. So that's why I have the Fertility Reboot, so I can basically, at a very high level, hold your hand while you do this for a really inexpensive price. $150 to get 4 solid weeks with me of live group coaching, 4 solid weeks of 5 days a week emails from me, 4 solid weeks of support in a community of like-minded women and my team where this habit sticks. And you do really begin to heal on that foundational level, because the diet is one part, right? That's really going to help heal the gut. But healing the gut also requires us to heal the nervous system, which is why in the reboot, beyond what I teach in the book, is where I really get into the mental, emotional, psychological aspects of healing, of beliefs, of the why. What is your why on this journey? And so you can get all that on your own, right? Especially if you have a good community and a good support system, especially if you take advantage of this book and all the resources that go into it, you can do it totally on your own. And a lot of people have. There's hundreds of reviews of this book on Amazon, 4.5 stars and higher. People fucking love this book. They dive into it. They follow it. They see the changes. Review after review is like, I was never getting normal embryos and now I am. I'm 3 years older and I finally have my healthy child. Like, oh my goodness, I had endo and I was never getting pregnant, or I had chronic endometritis and I couldn't figure it out. Like, this book changed things for me. So there are so many people that go out there and just do it and dive in, and bravo to you. If you want, though, or if you just want to revisit it, if you did it last year and you want to go back, and if you want me, like, my favorite part of teaching the Fertility Reboot is, of course, teaching this book, because I love it. And I use this book in practice for years before I actually published this book. So I have a lot of clinical data on the success of this diet and the macronutrients that are behind this diet: 45% fat, 30-ish% protein, 25-ish% carbohydrates, and how it impacts fertility and fertility outcomes. But the other piece of the puzzle that most people underestimate when we're talking about rebooting our health or improving our fertility is that mental emotional piece, is that healing of the nervous system piece. And that's where, when I get to teach these programs, I fucking love it, because I can really help you break down like the pieces. Why are we doing this? And each phase of the diet really does, to me, represent kind of this transformation of our belief systems too. Like phase 1, we're in the prep phase. We're curious, we're discovering. Phase 2, we're really working on like revamping, revitalizing, like going in deep. What is my why? In phase 3, it's like, okay, and now what does that look like in action? How can I continue to incorporate all of this into my life, and also really tune into my body and notice how I'm healing, how I'm transforming, and what I can take to the other areas of my life, right? And phase 4 is like same thing, continuing that, like that this is so much more. You know, I had a coaching call last night with a patient who, she's one of my coaching clients. She did this in earnest, 100%. We saw changes, of course, you know, and then kind of felt really ruled by the diet, felt too restricted. I see that a lot. I hear that a lot. And some of it's because we, how do I want to say it? We think that this is forever. And what this is meant to do, what the reboot is meant to do, what the book is meant to do, is teach you what works for you so you can live your life in a way that's supportive to how to nourish your body and your cells and reduce your inflammation in your body, right? So it's not meant that forever you need to be off of all these foods that we remove. That's not it at all. It's an elimination diet. You're meant to reintroduce. You're meant to see how your body reacts and how your body responds. And then you're meant to be able to make decisions for yourself. When I eat this, I feel this way. And so I'm going to choose not to do that because my body's obviously having a reaction to that. When I think this thought, I do this behavior. So maybe I'm going to be more conscious. What my goal is for everyone is the consciousness, the awareness that the choices I make directly impact my health, my vitality, my behaviors in my day-to-day life. And how are those choices supporting my goals, my dreams, my desires, supporting nourishing myself versus not? And so much of all of these rules, which I think, I agree, it can feel really rule heavy, and that can feel like you're, being deprived so much when you're already being deprived so much of this child and this desire for this baby. But really what the goal is for me on the very macro level, that high level, is you learning how to best nourish and support yourself on all the levels. You feeling not alone in the process. You understanding that no matter what, processed gluten products are bad for every single person on the planet because they're loaded with pesticides. Whether or not you have a gluten intolerance, I don't care. Pesticides are bad. They're proven, it's clear, the data is there, there's no arguing that. Environmental toxins are no good for hormones, right? So on that higher level. And so then when I make the choice, why don't I make the choice that feels best and supportive to me? Or also when I make the choice, sometimes understanding that it's frequency and consistency. So if I eat this thing every single day, no good for me. Once in a while, if I feel like a slice of pizza, all right, right? So it's like coming back home to you. That's really my goal, teaching you how to learn your body, which is the job I have to do. Anyway, there's lots of questions and comments coming through here. So I want to, is eating less carbs always a good idea? No, it's not. And carbs can come in many forms. So I think a lot of people think of carbs as grains. Carbs are in vegetables too. And so too low carb, it seems to really crash our hormones, especially our progesterone. So I do not recommend too low carb. And some women, we find out when we do the diet, need more carbs. Some of my girls, I'm like, you need a serving of rice every single day. You need one full sweet potato and a serving of rice every single day. That's what we figure out. I've signed up for the 15th. Do you think I should wait a month before starting IVF again? If you can, yeah. If that doesn't cause you too much stress. See you there, Aimee Reboot. Here we come. You're so cute. Are the sessions live? They are. So there's recorded video lessons. Each week you get a video lesson. Every day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, you get emails. So 4 weeks of 5 days worth of emails, video lessons. And then there's a live coaching session every week, and where I'm going live and questions are... Now I'm getting confused, but questions are answered beforehand. Everything's recorded as well. So if you can't catch it live, you'll see the coaching sessions in there. So you don't miss anything. And so what I mean by where I was getting confused of in those live sessions, I really come with information to teach. I really use those sessions as a means for me to dive into the emotional aspects. We'll always have in our private community a food thread where you can ask all your food related questions, and my team and I are in there supporting you. And then for the live sessions, we really try to get you to kind of ask your questions as it pertains to how the emotional and the psychological and the nervous system aspect ties in too. So I'm always working the angle of how this relates to your overall level of nourishment and peace and harmony in your body, not just checking the boxes for a diet. And is there any way I can share my case in those sessions for advice? Not necessarily. Because we'll have hundreds of people in this, so it's really hard for me to give individual case advice. I think kind of how we do it here too, of I'm 43 and wanting to improve my egg quality. What are the 3 things I need to do? Or my vitamin D is inherently low. How do I get it better? Very specific questions about your case. If you can summarize them, a lot of times that can be supported. But also know that we have a whole community of women that see you, hear you, understand you. So posting about yourself in there, it can be really helpful. What you put into this, you're going to get out of it. And so you might not always get my specific advice on your specific case, but you're going to get so much support. My body never knew what I was missing before trying this diet. Been following a quality diet with a hubby. Feels so great. He's even lost 20 pounds. Aimee's guidance is invaluable. You're so sweet. Thank you. I've always heard that red meat causes inflammation. Yeah, I have a whole YouTube on this. So just Google Aimee Raupp and red meat. I have a whole video, don't I? Aimee Raupp meat. Is red meat bad for endometriosis? I think that's a good one to watch. So just Google Aimee Raupp and the word meat, and there'll be some good videos that come up, but meat does not cause inflammation. Poor quality meat, commercially farmed meat, does. Meat in a diet where there aren't a lot of vegetables does. Yeah. So it's really how you consume it and the type that you consume, but meat is not inflammatory. Not sure whether to do the coaching course or the fertility reboot. Been trying for almost 2 years and your one-on-one is fully booked. Yeah, I'm booked now for the next 4 months. I just took on 17 new clients. So I will be on a wait list for at least 4 months. The e-course is now closed for enrollment. So that the coaching options, the only options left are to coach with one of my fertility coaches, which is always available. And that is on my website. If you want me and access to me and kind of my judge, join the reboot. It's only $150. I mean, I think what you get for this program for $150 is crazy. My team wants me to charge so much more, lovingly, but they're you give them so much in this program. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. Join the reboot. And even for you guys, there's so many new people all the time. If you just want to know more about me and know more about how my program works and why I've been so successful with thousands of women for the last 20 years, helping them get and stay pregnant, join the reboot, because you're gonna get the foundation. And then what you do with it from there is up to you. I've been following your advice, eating 8 to 9 servings of veggies a day. It's changed my life. Mine too. Okay. And my team, do you teach how to eat after the reboot? We do. And I have been focusing more on that in that 4th week too, of okay, what's next? What does this look like for me? And the book too, the book is required reading for the program. So the book really gets into it. When you get into phase 4, and even the last chapter, Beyond the 100 Days of the Egg Quality Diet. So the book is required reading, but I will also, of course, address this. I've had terrible flare-up in my tummy and been in agony of stage 4 endo. I've tried literally everything. What to do next? Oh, Louise. Are you still following the diet? Is, of course, I would ask. Are you doing your castor oil packs? Are you getting acupuncture? Are you doing Chinese herbs? Are you doing all the things? And how are you processing emotionally, right? That's the biggest thing for me, is the reboot for our fertility or healing from flares is about coming back to the basics. There's not one supplement that's going to fix everything. There's not one recommendation that's going to fix everything. And there's not one diet that's going to fix everything. That's the best part about this, is doing an elimination diet. You find out your diet for you. And this is worth repeating on a fairly regular basis, every couple years or so, because your body's always shifting and changing, right? And then the more your gut heals, the more you can tolerate certain foods. So but the healing from these flares and overall healing is you have to look at the mental, emotional inflammation and the physical inflammation. You can't do one without the other. And true healing on the foundational level is about resetting the gut, the nervous system, and the immune system. All of those things together. Joining the team reboot sounds great. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, join it here. So it's aimeeraupp.com/fertility reboot. You guys are so sweet. You're welcome for the information. So enrollment's going to close tomorrow night. Again, it's $150. It's a 30-day program. You get emails every day, Monday through Friday, of those 4 weeks. You get a video lesson from me. You get live coaching from me. You get an incredible community and support from me and my team in that community. You're going to get access to my member site where there's all sorts of resources for you. Required reading is this book and ideally my other books as well. But when you have the Egg Quality Diet, which a lot of you have bought it, and not all of you have used the resources page, which blows my mind because I spent hours creating that resources page. literally curated the best of the best for all of my readers here. But you have access to this book. You have access to the resources page. On the resources page are your shopping lists, your menus, so many things that you get, recipes that were missing from the book, tests to get, like emotional support, meditation. So joining the Reboot, I'm going to teach you how to use all of the resources you get with the egg quality diet, but also how to get the most out of this book, and then also how to really start the path of unpacking the emotional inflammation. And you'll have full 10 days from sign up to start and get your books and prep for the program. That's right. Praying for a positive outcome. My 8th retrieval tomorrow. We send you love. Lots of baby dust. Reboot closes tomorrow and starts what day? It starts on the 17th as the kickoff, and we give you access to the members community, the private community on the 10th, so you can kind of go in and introduce yourself and start to get familiar. You'll get access to the member site and start to get familiar, and we want you to take those 10-ish days to make sure you have your book, to start doing your food shopping for week 1, or use week 1 as the means to clear out your pantry, prep for week 2, right? So there's a lot of that. And the emails are going to really support you on that as well. I haven't tried any you recommend. I'm an emotional wreck and started a new job. My boss is sapping all my energy and so demanding. I do love Aimee. You're the best. I love you too, sweetie. Herbs. I would try some herbs, my love. Acupuncture and stuff to just like soothe you. Soothing. You need soothing. Your nervous system sounds fried. Okay. I'm going to go because I'm going to preserve my energy for all of you who join the Reboot. And even if you don't join the Reboot, have you gotten this book? Like I said, the resources that come along with this book is 100 days of all you need to eat and do to reboot your fertility. And then with the resources page, you can get access to some of the emotional stuff, so you can start also working on the nervous system piece, the emotional inflammation piece. If you join the Reboot, that's where I really hold your hand on that piece. And yeah, it's amazing. Okay, AimeeRaupp.com/fertility reboot. Enrollment will close tomorrow night. I hope to see you guys there. Have a beautiful day.